Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today on Coffee and a Mystery Card, we walked through some fun collage techniques and made a card like this. All right, so the challenge was to collect items according to the clue. If you go to KitchenTableStamper.com, follow the link below that says project description here, and you'll see the clues from the mystery card. We walked through a series of clues to make a collage card. You ahead of time collected various materials, and then we walked together with the materials that you collected. So everybody's card is going to turn out different, and they'll be shared on the Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social, which is our Facebook group, and that link is below the video too. So this was our Coffee and a Mystery card. We did some first and second generation inking techniques to build a collage on the crumb cake. Then we layered over die cut cardstock, vellum, designer series paper, did a little bit more stamping and layering of die cuts here, put it all to the card front, and it is a really just fun artistic birthday card. And that is our project for today. I hope that you're excited to give this technique a try. So the first thing that I want to do is get some cardstock pieces here. We have card base. It's So Saffron, and it's 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Then we've got basic black cardstock. That's 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So we're going to go down 1/4 of an inch and then 1/8 of an inch. All right. So we've got our layered background pieces. We're going to start with this crumb cake one and our crumb cake ink. We're using the new Queen Bee bundle from the Stampin' Up January through April catalog. I saw this and couldn't resist it. It's got a very artistic flair. I tend to go a little bit more whimsical than I do artistic, and so this one's a little bit different for me, but I couldn't resist the appeal, so we're gonna play around with that. I've gotta just swipe the So Saffron ink off of my stamp. That's my Simply Chamois, really a lifesaver for stamp cleaning. Quick wipe between colors really is a great product. If you don't have one of those, you just keep it in a stamp case, and it's a no waste way to just wipe in between colors. All right, so we got crumb cake, and we're gonna do a first generation image of kind of our main elements. So we've got our beautiful floral here. And give the ink a second to transfer. And then, let's see, is my bee yellow? Yep, my bee's yellow too. We just finished Coffee and a Mystery Card on the Craft Social. We play every other Thursday where I lead through clues and we make cards or we make treats. Sometimes we do things like this where we've got a technique that we're featuring. And sometimes we do, I don't know, it can all be different. Sometimes we do like small Stampa stacks. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. And today we played with layering ink. So we've got our elements here that are first generation crumb cake ink on crumb cake cardstock. Now the next thing we're going to do is grab some of the collage elements from the stamp set, and we're going to stamp and then stamp over. So this is called second generation stamping, and it's going to allow you to build the crumb cake ink on top of the crumb cake ink. So we're going to stamp this cool background a couple of times. The other thing that you can do with this is you can stamp and you can move and have a third generation. So it'll be darker and lighter even still. We're going to go up here, stamp off, and over here. I tend to just like fill every little space and sometimes even overdo it. So I think that's going to be my last one. Sometimes I have restraint and sometimes I don't. And I've also got this little crown and a little spatter. Make sure that's clean. Now we're going to add the little crown, a little second generation think that's pretty good. Maybe one over here. Maybe one here. I want to go back to my spatter background for a minute because I'm missing over here. Yeah. Okay, now some of these little dudes. You can do these a combination of first and second generation for a little bit of visual interest. I think I want one here, one here. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. We're not going to overdo it. We're going to stop while well enough is alone. Now let's slide this little guy to the side, and we're going to do some stamping for our focal image. We're going to do So Saffron for our focal image, and it's one of the things that I challenge myself to do often is to stamp on colored cardstock or to stamp with colored ink, especially my sentiments. All right, we're going to stamp our B on So Saffron, and I want to put a magnet over here, one on the other end. Don't let them get too close together. They come together with a lot of force. All right, I'm going to move my paper down just a little bit. Now we're going to do an ink stamp repeat technique with the Stamparatus. I'm going to put the stamp set under the plate, and we're going to ink our B, stamp our B, and then we're going to ink our B and stamp again. We'll repeat that until we get the kind of saturation of ink that we want to see. We want a nice strong contrast without blurring out the details in this image. You can see it's really got the wings with the floral pattern in there has really got a lot of detail. So we don't want to compromise the detail, but we are looking for a nice strong black image. And you'll see each time we stamp, it gets better and better. This time we're just going to focus on the body and legs. I can do that again. Focused on the body and the legs. Maybe one more time. All right, now I've got a nice hard black contrast. Move your magnets away from each other, and let's die cut our B. We'll also die cut a couple of our collage elements here at the same time. We're going to use our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this project. I love this machine. You can have it right in your stamping space. It's so small, but it's also very mighty. We're going to do our B and our honeycomb, and we're going to do some of our hexagons all in one pass. I'm going to line up my outline die for my B, and a little hint, when you're doing this, there's little tiny holes in the ends of the legs, like the feet, and you want to see black in each of those holes. You want to see, or whatever color ink you stamp in, you want to see in each of those holes. That's a good hint that you've got it lined up right. And a honeycomb die. These are all from the Queen Bee dies. Now we're going to put our hexagons. The hexagons are from the Beautiful Shapes. We got to run a couple of passes with the hexagon. So we're going to grab our designer series paper first. This is the Dandy Designs designer series paper. This is free during Celebration with a $100 order. It's a Mondo pack of paper, 48 double-sided sheets with gorgeous spring patterns. The color palette is just fresh and light. All right, let me get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, my little mini machine here. The sandwich is 133 to die cut, and you're going to place the top plate. So you want to press the sandwich into the machine and see the handle move. When you see the handle move, you crank, move your hand to the top, and then finish. And look at that, such a little machine, but what a mighty cut, right? We've got our B, 2 hexagons, and our little honeycomb. Now we're not done yet. We've got to do the little wreath. Oh, those little hexagons, save those for embellishments. Those are so cute. And we're gonna do another set of hexagons. For our second set of hexagons, we're using this lovely specialty paper, vellum. So what we wanna do is cover the back entirely with adhesive. This is a Stampin' Up! Adhesive sheet, and we're going to peel the release paper from our adhesive sheet, get it going. And I get it going by just rolling the corner toward me and then peeling the layers apart. Now this release is not sticky. We got our adhesive here. Gonna add a little piece on our vellum and then cut it out. So with this method, you'll have very little waste of adhesive or of your gorgeous vellum paper. And pop the hexagon on there. Now be careful with this paper, it's got a text, so you want to make sure your text doesn't run uphill or downhill. All right, let's pop our leaves on the scrap of basic black. Okay, so our little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We've got our plates loaded up again with the vine and our little hexagons. Let's pop the top on and give it a push. Handles engaged, crank, hand to the top. These plates are 3 by 7, I believe, so there's less rotations for cranking, which is really nice. If you do a lot of die cutting, you only have to crank a 7-inch platform, which is less rotations, but it really does, you can pack a lot of dies on with each pass. All right, so here's our sample, and here's our bits. Bring our collage layer back into any of these small pieces that we've done here would be perfect for the adhesive sheets. Let's set this guy aside. Oh, I almost forgot, on my second copy of this card, I had an extra hexagon. This one is So Saffron, but we're going to give it a little bit of collage stamping like we did to our background. So I'm going to take our text stamp and some So Saffron ink and add a little bit of interest to our hexagon. There. Just adds a little texture where we're already building. All right, let's bring our liquid glue in, and we're just going to dab liquid glue. So this is one that would be perfect for that multi-purpose or for that adhesive sheet, because you can make them just peel and stick if you like. We're going to add our little hexagon, our little honeycomb on top of our hexagon, and pop our little leaf, like a laurel leaf, out of the die, and we're going to glue that one, but we're going to divide it. So we'll take the left half and just dab glue. Less is more. A little bit on the stems, a little bit on the leaves. Add that to your collage. And I need some scissors. I'll cut off the excess. I think it's best to just cut right from the back. Just cut it straight off. And then we're going to dab again on the remaining piece. Just dots of glue. You don't want it to squeeze out and look crazy. And pop that in the upper right corner. Turn it over and trim. Use the whole thing. Isn't that cool? Now we're going to start our honeycomb from the hexagons. Put that little guy on the bottom, and then our yellow one builds up from there. Oh. And then one of our text, vellum text, just roll your thumb along the side until the release paper folds back, and then peel it away. It really is simple to use. Next guy, same thing. You'll want to use this for everything. It makes it so easy. And then our last hexagon piece, with a little pop of Coastal Cabana freshness here. Now we're going to layer them up on our other cardstock pieces. We'll matte with basic black, which really makes those silhouette branches pop now, doesn't it? And then matte, we'll layer that on the card. We've got our beautiful bee. Let's pop some dimensionals on. For projects like this, I like to use my black Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm gonna add a few to the back of my bee. And we'll pop our bee over the honeycomb that we just built. A little bit to the left. There we go. I don't want her wings off the card. Good, right? Let's get some embellishments here. I'm using the pastel adhesive back sequins. These are new in the January through April, the spring catalog. And they've got blue, pink, and gold. Now, I think it's balmy blue, petal pink, and then a matte gold. But I love the iridescence on the blues and the pinks. So it's really flexible. I think if you wanted to put these with Coastal Cabana, you could. I think balmy blue pool party. Your pinks can go with petal pink or blushing bride easily. So you're going to find some flexibility with this, and look at how many you get. There's so much. You can over bling with this pack. And I'm going to use some of each size this time. These are all the small. I'm going to use the small and the large on this one. I like to mix it up. That way we can use all of the embellishments and not just get stuck with a whole bunch of small embellishments or a whole bunch of large embellishments and not have an easy way to use them. So sometimes I mix it up and do all one size, sometimes a combination of the two, but just to kind of equally use them. Now, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't bring some of this artistic collage to the inside of our card. So let's switch to So Saffron ink and protect our surface again. Love my mini grid paper. It's so handy. All right, let me get my Memento Tuxedo Black. And we're going to change colors on our sprig and bee again. So I'm going to get my simple chamois. Give these a wipe. Love it. Just rinse them with water when you're done. Rinse until the water runs clear. Wring them out. Store them in a stamp case. No waste. You can use it to infinity. Now what I like to do is just stamp off, make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to do So Saffron on our flowers and add that to the inside of our card. And then our bee. Flying up in the corner here. And give the ink just a second to transfer so you can catch some of the details, even though it is color on color and it's meant to be subtle. If you take your time and allow the ink to transfer, you'll get a crisp, strong image. We're going to start our greeting on the inside from the bottom up. Birthday, and then happy. And we'll top it all off with the little crown image for our queen bee. Isn't that cute? So inside, outside, happy birthday to the queen bee. I hope you guys enjoyed the artistic adventure doing some collage. If you've got any questions about the project, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, you can email me, Marisa, at kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.